Welcome to Colorflow Conversations. I am Uakeisha, and this is
Tikisha.
and we welcome you would like and because Nelly and Ashanti getting it right now. You know about them?
Do I know about them?
Baby, she's been
I told you, like, I might not know very much celebrity stuff, but a little bit of the music people I may know.
yeah.
But I loved them when they first
We're together,
came back and were together and was out in public because it just looked just so good and
so
fun.
happy. Yeah, they were having
It looked fun and genuine.
And let me tell you something about her. She enjoyed her life when her and that man broke up. We ain't see her with a bunch of different men. She ain't had no baby. She didn't, and we don't really know what was going on in her life. All I know is they did that verses, and he walked across that stage to give her a hug, and next thing we know, she engaged and about to have this man's baby. And she let them go through whatever they went through. She probably wished and desired for years that because they said it wasn't any cheating or anything. They said it was just like their schedules and they were young and kind of immature. I don't think she waited on him. I think she was happy in her singleness. And if he came, he came. But if somebody else comes, I don't think it's like, no soulmate. I don't think that. You can tell me if you believe in that. Do you believe in that?
It said 5757. I was literally just about to ask you. It was like going through my mind, like, do you believe in soulmates and the twin flames and all of that? Oh. Like one of my metaphysical classes, it's a course on that. I haven't read it yet. I don't personally have a theory of a soulmate or a twin flame, like which is which and what does it mean. And I think it's something, my brain. I think it's something on a personal level because I remember talking to a guy and I felt like this was my friend and my world was gonna change without him being in my life. And then I look back like he wasn't my friend. Like we would sit and it would be quiet. We didn't even talk. What? Like this was stupid. But I thought that, you know what I'm saying? But it's that those young love type things when you think you grown and you think you in love and you don't know nothing. You don't know nothing. But then I've had, situations where I've had gentlemen that's been a gentleman and laid it all out and we have conversation and just kick it and it's like my friend, but we didn't move into nothing further, you know what I'm saying, past boyfriend girlfriend, so to speak. So I don't, but I feel like we get lessons. I feel like if we are not smart with our bodies and who we give our bodies to and we act out of lust. And I feel like sometimes when you act out of lust and it's too damn good, let's just be honest, that you keep acting out of lust. And then now that's when it's the soul tie. It ain't you, my soulmate, or none of that, because I want to believe that who God has for me is for me and it's going to be aligned and it's going to come together right when it needs to be. Mm-hmm. I truly believe that. But fornication is a sin. So the things that I've gone through and the things that I happen, like people talk about karma, but you create your own karma. You do. You can't decide on how big or how little it's going to be. Mm-hmm. So I'm a sinner. I'm not perfect. So it's every day I'm creating something that's going to come back on me because of a decision or a choice that I've made. So sometimes your karma ain't just, for all I know, me being single right now could be a karma for me hurting somebody else who might have liked me and I didn't even know your ass liked me for real. Because I didn't pretended a lot because I wanted it or I wanted it to be this. And then sometimes I just went with the flow because I didn't know my worth. Laying in situations literally and in other situations sitting there like, why am I here? What am I doing? What is wrong with me? That's why I say right now, like, I cherish this. Mm-hmm. I'm just not, I don't care how much lust is in me. I'm just not about to do that. Yeah. Because then I'm going to have to do a reset And it may be, like I said earlier, going in reverse. I'm trying to keep going to my end goal. I
Yeah.
want what's for me. I want it to be right. I want it to be on all levels, especially now, spiritually. I don't want to connect with you, and we all got demons. But
I
if your
agree.
demons are running you, my light I can't suck that out of you. I cannot.
I've heard this
And you
week.
transmuting that with me. Like I can't do that. I want somebody that then already fought their demons just like I done fought mine. I'm not trying where we just making light together. I'm not pulling out your dark to make it light.
I heard this week your husband is not going to lead you into sin. He'll respect not being sexual with you before y'all get married and everything like that. Now I don't know if it's true or not, because there's been some successful marriages that.
So I was gonna ask you, like, because I always say, like, I'll be trying to keep it real, like I may not wait to the, very okay. But I'm just saying, like, do you feel, and I already know what you're gonna say, but do you feel like it has to be this ordained ceremony and we signing a license, or do you feel like it's a time frame? Because like when I hit you with this, I come out and announce my relationship to the public and I say this is what it is and it's been less than a year, is it gonna be like, because we put time frames again, like I talked about earlier. You ain't even known that man last that long. You know what? And or if I do decide where I'm just like I'm taking this chance because, and it's a chance because I don't know. I can feel like, and I'm praying that I continues to nurture my relationship with God, so I am directed, that I don't move too soon. But being that sin is a sin is a sin, and we all gonna sin, it's just like, where's the fine line where I can preach, but now I'm coming to this where I be like, oh girl, I've already been in my marriage bed and I ain't married yet. Like what is your view on that? Because I feel like we go hard about sin and what you doing in fornication. We go hard on that,
and they act like that's the worst. Oh, it's levels to the sins or something. There's no levels to it. We sin every day. And me stealing a piece of candy is just as bad as me screwing somebody that I ain't married to. It ain't no levels to it in God's eyes. With that being said, with me personally, with my history of dating and what I've been through, I'm not trying to create any more soul ties because I just can't have another soul tie. I can't. It's too hard to, well, now ain't too hard to break them, but when you don't know, it's hard to break it. I'm not trying to have another soul tie. Because,
and the thing is, when you do create it, you really don't know, because you have to see what you were supposed to learn from that particular.
And so the last experiences, that wonderful experiences I've had,
they've been wonderful.
Kudos, y'all. I'm just saying.
I ain't gonna lie, because she turned me on to some good little new restaurants and stuff.
I'm just saying, the last experiences that I've had, physical, great experiences, dating, great, but the soul ties is where the damage comes. Nobody has hurt my feelings or abused me or anything like I have I dealt with from marriage below.
So when you say soul ties, what does that look like for you? Like when you say it, how do you see it?
I feel it differently. I felt it differently. I knew with one particular experience that I wasn't the only person that was involved with that person physically. And it wasn't that they was moving funny or anything. I could feel it on the inside, like, ooh, what is this I'm feeling? I ain't get mad, I ain't holler, I ain't scream, I ain't fuss.
And people, I've been in situations where I was like that and felt like that, and then I was trying to be manipulated into thinking that that's not what it was.
But I never brought it up. This is the first time I've said this out loud. I just was like, I knew what it was.
But I'm saying for the women who don't know what it was,
yeah,
or what it is,
yeah.
If you're in that and your gut is telling you, your inside, your intuition is saying something, because I know some women that feel like, I don't know what it is.
You know what it is.
You know what it is, and if you don't, call me because I can help you decipher what it is.
What it is. You know, my intuition has always been strong. Like, strong. When my marriage was ending, the intuition that I had, after I would think it and my intuition was there, God would drop it, the proof, like, oh, you need a sign, here it is. Here it is. Because I never went looking for anything. I never had to look for anything. It was like, and that was the beginning of me becoming aware. So then after I got divorced and was dating and was having my wonderful.
But see, what you didn't realize is God was already setting you up, and you were transitioning more to become the spiritual person that you are today, because there are a lot of women that go through that and don't even know that their intuition is their intuition. I have conversations like that with women regularly. Like, no, that was your intuition talking to you.
And if you sat and really sat under somebody, a minister or a preacher that really preached some word to you about the Spirit and the Holy Spirit and being in it, then you will know that the Holy Spirit, understand it. The Holy Spirit is really
people can go every week and be preached to, and they not understand.
And they not understand. They just going to go. So that was like the beginning of me being aware of my intuition. Like, So when I started dating and having these, physical interactions, and it was like, I felt like, like it was one time I specifically remember, like, what is this I'm feeling? I didn't question or anything. I didn't say, I had a dream and no, I just sat in my silence. And towards the end of that, God did the same thing. Dropped it in me. Dropped the proof. And I didn't get mad. I didn't holler. I was probably a little sad, I'm sure. I knew I was sad, but it was just like, that's the end of that. It was, I don't want that anymore. I don't want the soul tie. I don't want to feel that. I want the person who I am with forever to be my person. That's why I'm not going to engage like that anymore. Like, there's levels in people's eyes to sin. Like, if you're homosexual, oh my God, you the worst one. It ain't like that in God's eyes. But I know what's healthy for me. And I'm sure I sin every day, knowingly and unknowingly. But for that, that's not healthy for me. That's why I am like, I'm sorry, y'all.
So do you think, because as I'm sitting here, because it's just like how we use our words and everything that you say, not you specifically, but just in general that we hear, do you feel like, because I feel like having a soul tie automatically goes to a negative connotation when it cannot necessarily, because I want it, like, I'm a pretzel girl. I want us to be intertwined and all of that. But it's just like, we look at it so... It's
bad. Like a soul tie is not always bad. It's not. I've been involved with people that are my friends and still my friend. And we don't have any bad anything. You know what I'm saying? There's no bad connotation. There's no bad it was tied and it's not, but I also think it's the spirit of the person when it's a negative soul tie. You know what I'm saying? Not that they're a bad person, but there's some type of spirit
just
there.
Just like the boso when we talked about earlier. I think everything almost have two ways that we can look at it, but we're be so stuck
on the bad part. Yeah. There's always a stick to the bad part, but like I said, there's people that I've been involved with that I have no issue with. There has been and I'm sure that their soul tie has been there. And now that I'm a renewed mind, it ain't like that no more. Some of them probably is. Because, like I said, I always get a call for somebody to spin the block. I'm just saying, But
I
that's
get it, because that's how I came up with the term recyclables, because I used to until I didn't.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I used to. But now it's probably a weird feeling because I don't, because my mind is renewed, like you're supposed to have a renewed mind. Before, my mind wasn't. So for me, I can't revisit that because I can't have another negative soul tie. I can't handle another bad soul tie. It's not good for me. You saying, I don't know if I'm gonna wait when I get married because I'm gonna know that that's him. I don't judge you on that because if you want it, you want it. You know what I'm saying? It's been longer, or whatever. So, but for me, you got to know what your path is.
Yes, you have to know your path, and I know what I'm looking for.
Yeah, I probably.
I know,
probably, yeah.
A lot of people say they know, but
They don't really
they don't know.
Yeah.
They haven't thought about the characteristics, or that I just want a husband.
Yeah.
Like, I joke about that, but I know, like how you talked about the man, the leader, and how he's supposed to look. I know the type of man that I want to be in my life to take care of me.
Mm-hmm. When I said, and like I said, I've met some very kind men, and I've shared that with you. Like, very kind, very nice, got they stuff together, men got their stuff together as far as what society would say got your stuff together, but unhealed, which is why I'm single. They probably don't understand, why I'm not returning, unhealed, trauma bond, you know, I don't want to be the therapist where you dump like your problems on me. I want to be your friend, don't get me wrong, but I don't want that to be the center of our conversations every day. Uh, but society would be like, "Oh my God, girl!"
And that's the thing where we talked about, and I guess that's what made me go to it, because of how we talked about building a friendship.
Yeah,
people put times and move too fast, where it's just like how a person is acting and what they're doing, where it's just like, you can take it slow. We don't have to talk every day.
yeah,
Like, I
yeah,
want to learn my person as a friend.
yeah.
But my time is a little bit different, because it's just like, I guess I'm gonna learn him in a week, and then week 2.
I
You
feel like
know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So that's why I just feel like at this point in our lives, older, and we don't chase, we attract. You're gonna attract a different caliber
Yeah.
of a man. And I'm pretty sure
I have.
That's what I was getting ready to
I have.
say.
I've attracted nobody that I have dated in the last, 7 years have been like anybody I dated before that. Nobody. Nobody. I mean, I give kudos to the people that I have had experiences with in these last 6 or 7 years because it's taught me something. I attracted something. I have to use the word better for me. But again, unhealed, you know, men, sadly, they have trauma that they don't get therapy and talk, especially Black men. You know, wonderful. Thankfully, a lot of men are going to therapy a lot more now, but they dealt with, like we was talking about, trauma with hair and everything. These men have dealt with things too, and it's only so much that you can say to.
A man has to deal with a lot.
He has to
you
deal
have
with
to
it.
be a man. So being a man, because I remember how I taught my son, like, you better not cry. Like, I taught him to not have emotions.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's just like, as a human, you have emotions.
Yeah.
You may not be emotional as a woman, but all of that needs to be balanced and need to be dealt with. And the best part about having a therapist and somebody to talk to is just having that biased individual.
Yeah. That don't know your history.
Yeah. And who really can disconnect.
They can.
Because that is very important.
While they go through their personal stuff.
In the car, like, no, I disconnect. And I'm talking about my family, like, I disconnect from their stories.
And I don't. Put
me in when you need to, but I don't want to sit where I'm sitting there and I'm so worried about. Yes.
And that's why I don't stay in it. That is why I don't stay in it, because like I said, I've met some very kind, very nice. Don't let me
Look at
touch
her face.
doors.
Very
Don't let me
kind,
touch
very
doors.
nice. A gentleman. You
Gentlemen
are
that,
dating gentlemen.
yeah, very kind, but they have their own, things that they have to deal with. And what I don't want at this point in my life is to go through that with you. I'm not doing that. I'm healing. I feel like I'm healed in a lot of areas that they're not. Like, you never stop healing, but I'm healed in a lot of areas that they're not. So it kind of clashes when I'm sitting there like, you don't know how to get through that? Like, dude, I can't.
So I introduced what I told my sister was like my elevator theory,
Mm.
because I want to be able to get on it, and I'm comfortable with who's ever on there with me. Where if I forget, because you know how sometimes you can get on the elevator and forget to push the button.
Yes.
But I want to always know that the man that I'm with is taking me higher.
Yeah, that part. That part.
There's
And
certain
not a
things
trauma
where we
bonder.
can
Yeah.
grow
Yeah. Yep.
together.
Yes. Because I don't want to
But
make it like I don't want to grow
right, because
with
like you
them,
said,
but
coach, I want to be coachable with him as well.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I want to learn new things. I want to have new experiences.
mm-hmm,
I'm not going to be embarrassed to be like, I ain't never did that before. I don't want to put on a show and pretend to be like I'm more than what I'm not.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't
I'm
want to.
gonna act with class. I ain't gotta get
Yeah,
out of here and act like I ain't used to nothing, because it's
yeah.
levels to
To
that.
that,
You
yeah.
can be classy, but you ain't gotta act, with the air of like, but I want somebody that's gonna elevate me.
I
Period.
and I've been
And I want
elevated.
to be able to elevate him in
Yeah,
certain areas too.
and I've been elevated. I've been elevated in a lot of areas with people that I've dated, men and women, but we talking about men right now. I've been elevated, but when you get to that point, there always come to a point where what we about to do, because we've been doing this for a
And
while,
that's
and
the
that's when you have to
you
ask
have to make
yourself
a
the
decision
question.
for
You have to make a
yourself,
decision
like
for
you said.
yourself. Like, okay, do you? Because then if you make the decision for yourself where you like, this is so good to me, I'm just gonna stay in it. It's kind of like your past where you were being abused, not that the abuser, but I'm gonna take this because he is so good to me and I think he's so good to me. No. What do you want for your life? Do you want to grow with this person, go through their trauma? It's levels to trauma.
It's levels to what you're saying being so good for you, because the person can be so good and that can be good and actually what you want and a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you accept that, and everybody, like I said, it's so many different levels to it. It's sad because when you think about they are good, kind people that just have their own issues that they don't ever deal with because they a man and they gotta put up a front, or they gotta, they have issues where they felt they ain't good enough, or they have relationship issues, or they've had divorces where, you know, their divorce was based on some trauma from childhood too, and then they have trust issues.
So let me ask you this: when you say the divorce issues, when in your dating life, do you talk about your past relationships? Because my personal thing is,
I stopped.
what's in the past is in the past. I don't need to talk to you about that. I'm trying to learn you as an individual and you me. So there are certain things that I have changed because of my past, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, so and so ain't used to do this.
Yeah.
Or if there's something that wasn't done that you're now doing it, I'm not gonna give that kudos for happening
because you're
either.
supposed to do it anyway.
Because there's certain things that exactly you're supposed to do anyway, and there's certain things that I said I won't. So I know a part of me wanting a gentleman, you gonna open that door for me.
I stopped.
So
talking
I'm
about
not
my
about
past.
to congratulate. Thank you.
Yeah.
Like,
I
and
stopped.
not that it's anything wrong with being manners, but I'm not about to lift you up because you doing basic gentleman
basic stuff you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
The basic things you're supposed to do. I think it's levels to talking about your past. I always will admit I've been married twice, whatever, because I ain't embarrassed by
Because I'm
that.
not gonna judge anybody by their
Yeah.
past, especially if they're showing me a different side.
Yeah.
You could be the most toxic man in America, but if you showing me something different, then I'm getting the side that you showing me. I'm learning you for who you are present day.
And they got a different side of me because they got a secure.
And we bring out different sides
of
the
each
same
other.
man.
Yeah. They attracting what they deserve.
Yes.
You know, they attracting because of, you know, how
That
we
was
are.
deep. They attracting what they deserve.
Yeah, they attracting what
all
they
of
deserve.
us.
Yeah, all of us. It's just that you got to be aware. They have to become aware of their trauma and where they need to heal too. You know what I'm saying? And we different creatures. They also got to learn discipline.
Yeah.
They got to learn discipline. You know, they have and women, you know, in some areas too, depending on where you are in your life, but there's a level of discipline that's very attractive to me when I see a disciplined man, when I meet a disciplined man.
That's more of a...
Yeah, if you're a disciplined man, and
there's so many areas of your life
that has to be disciplined.
That has to be disciplined. It ain't just a physical thing about...
It ain't just physical, yeah. It ain't just physical, because the first thing that, you know, we think of, like, they want multiple women and all that, which is, yeah, that's number one. We don't want you dealing with a bunch of different women. I want you to be a disciplined man. I'm going to be like, dang, that man I'm attracted to him. When I see a man that's married and he has a good relationship with his wife and I can see the discipline in him, that's attractive to me. I'm looking at her like, girl, you got it. Because your husband is disciplined.
Yes.
An undisciplined man, I'll be looking like, and she know he undisciplined.
Yeah.
You know. But a disciplined man that's disciplined in every area of his life, like we talked about him being a leader over every area of his life, I love that. I'm like, oh my God. Oh, he's so disciplined. He is not just trying to do everything and do dip and dab and everything, and not just women, just
every aspect of his life. I ain't got 30 hustles going on.
That part. I ain't trying to scam. I'm not trying to hustle. I'm not trying to, I ain't, you know, the smartest person in the room or the loudest person. A disciplined man in his conversation, a disciplined man in his actions, a disciplined man in his work, a disciplined man in his business.
And I say this when I say 30 hustles, I want to backtrack on that, because you can run different business and do things, but I say that when you don't follow through with your plan, you have these ideas.
Yeah, and they never become into fruition. That part, you know, I can't. A disciplined man is like the most number one attraction to me. Like, it shows your leadership.
Girl.
It shows your leadership. It's like, you know, you on another level. You're gonna get a whole amazing Keisha.
Okay.
If you're a disciplined man.
For both Keishas.
Okay. For real. There is so much a disciplined man can bring out of me that's in me that, I mean,
it'll be things that you didn't even know, because I feel like what people don't even realize is with growth and building your relationship with God, I'm going to call these things gifts.
Yes.
He unlocks more and more gifts, and you see more and more different things, and things turn into this, because we never knew we was going to be sitting here today, but I never knew that I would be playing the role of a formal encourager. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? As just being the mortgage girl, but I think back to like my life just 2 years ago when I first really started digging into, because I've gone to parochial schools. I started out in a Catholic school, so I've been around the word itself for forever. But when I really started building that relationship and pulling myself out the hole by trusting God for myself, I noticed new things, because I was just like, I don't know if I ever told you this, but I wrote about this in my blog. When I first started seeing angel numbers, because you see them your whole life, you just ain't not, but it's like I said, you recognize it. So when I first started seeing that, I wrote them down for a year. I always had a notebook with me, or I would text myself in my phone, write notes. And I had looked back, because I didn't even realize that I had did it for that long.
Yeah.
But it was my way because I didn't know what they mean. And everybody sees signs and stuff differently. And I remember at one of the classes that I had, the lady was just like, don't run, just see what it means to you. So I say that where it's just like, now I see them, but now I notice different things, the way God is speaking to me differently. So the more I'm connected, the more I'll be able to pour into the person that I'm dating, my future husband, because I'm seeing things differently. God is revealing things to me. We just like how you and I talk. And I don't know if you have other friends like that, but I do have some other friends, and even for sure with my family, like, wait a minute, what you just say? Because I was thinking this, and it's like, I'm not saying it like jumping on the bandwagon or to make you think. This is legit things that happen that I am feeling like is putting us in alignment. It's on brand. It's right where we supposed to be. And that is the connection that I want with everybody in my life.
Yeah.
And most certainly this man, because I'm accepting him into my life as my head. I ain't looking up to just anybody. I guess that's why I always had an issue with dating taller men. But now I'm good. But I ain't looking up to I ain't looking up to just anybody.
I have a very good memory. So good that I can go far as back as your baby shower. I remember the 7-layer salad your aunt made. That
everybody
was so
came out for my baby
so,
shower.
Yeah,
it was
my memory is very good. And one of the this guy that I was dating,
Jordan, you were so loved. You still are.
You are loved, Jordan. Tell her to make that salad again. But look,
tell her to make the salad, y'all.
But when we talk about pouring into the person pouring into you, and they're working on their healing, because my issue is them not working on it. Not that they have trauma. Let me correct it. That it's not being intentionally worked on. But the one person that I talk about all the time that didn't believe in God, it was crazy because in one of our first earlier conversations where we were talking about exercise or something like that, I was like, oh yeah, that'll be great. That could happen. I was like, I asked something like, what made you ask me that? And he used a scripture. It said, iron sharpens iron. We make each other better.
It's crazy that he used the scripture.
I never forget that. He used a scripture. It was like iron sharpens iron. Like, and I was like, so my thing is when I date now, I try to do things to sharpen the iron in the person. And I'm sure they probably try to do that to me too. But when you really get to, if we gonna really do this, like, are they really doing it for themselves or just to get me? Because what I do for my healing is for me. It ain't to make for no relationship. It's not, so I can make something work next time.
This don't have nothing to do with that, but I'm still stuck on the iron sharpens iron because I'm not speaking for him, but I know, and I've had this happen in my life where it's been words that were said that a person didn't even know was biblical. Because I'm like, I done heard that 100 times, and as much as I know that I've been in my word, I'm like, oh, that was in the Bible.
That's a scripture. Yeah, it's a scripture. I don't know if he knew it.
So I wonder, but it's,
I don't know. I don't know if he knew it, but it's in the Riley did know it, because a lot of people don't believe in God know what the Bible
the Bible say.
They know what the Bible say.
They know it real good.
They know it better than the people who go to church. Because that's why they be like.
That's why they be like, nah.
Yeah,
we ain't going for that. Because they can spit it out and tell you what it say and what it say here and why they like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, and then they don't act on it or whatever, which is why church folks need to watch their actions, because you win people by your actions, not because you go into the building. You're not winning people because you getting dressed going to church every Sunday and because you can quote a few scriptures. That's why y'all losing me, because I know. I hate to talk bad about the church. Well, I'm not talking about the church because we are the church, but I've seen so much that I'm like, I used to dog people that stopped going to church. I can't believe she don't go no more. But she grew up in it, and I can't believe she used to sing in the choir. She used to lead the song. I can't believe he don't. Now I'm that person
Yeah,
that
and
they
I
can't
always
believe.
struggled with going to church just for different reasons of finding one where I felt a connection where I never like to do anything just to do it.
Yeah.
So it was just like, and I get, sometimes they'll be like, oh, well, it was just not this week. But I'm like, if I'm feeling like I'm just going in attendance to say that I'm going, like, this ain't it. Like, I want to take away. And I'm sure you can, agree with this. Like, there's some pastors where I've experienced where I'm just like, he don't miss. Like, I walk away with something every time. And then there's other times where it's been like, I've been here a whole year and you might have said 2 or 3 things that really touch my spirit. But I feel like that judgment of not going to church has always been was something I dealt with for a long time, that I struggled with just internally. Not even that I said anything about it, but it was because I know of the people in my life that, go to church. And not even that they always said something to me. It's just sometimes it was in my spirit. And then sometimes you get in your own head. And then I start judging my own self. Like, well, am I less than because I don't go every Sunday and this person go, and because I'm not on nothing? So then I didn't join the ministry at the church, when it's just like, you know what? I'm doing too much.
You doing
for the wrong reasons.
It reminds me of the movie we went to see, the Book of Clarence, that church people didn't. It was like, oh my God, it's blasphemous or whatever. But the
that
message
movie was so good.
that
I
the
need to see it
message,
again.
yeah, the message in that movie was, is knowledge better? He was like, knowledge is better than belief. And I almost feel like a lot of church people got the knowledge of the Bible, but do you really believe? Because if you really believe, you'll live your life a different way, which is where I'm at. I've had the knowledge of God. I've had the knowledge that He's real. I've had the knowledge of scriptures and everything. But until I really got the renewed mind and the belief that, girl, if you don't really get your life in order,
you know how you talked about your experiences? I feel like that's what I have now. I feel like my, whatever we want to call it, as you would say, a believer, and not putting it in religion versus spirituality, because I think it's all the same.
Yeah.
But I have new experiences that I didn't realize, before, and things that I pay more attention to, like nature. Even as a little girl, I never wanted to have my shoes on. And I can't remember what my parents and family members would say, but it's always, girl, put your shoes on. Where now I think about that and just sitting outside and being grounded in nature, and how I pay attention to just the different sounds. And I find that relaxing versus being in the hustle and bustle, and I never heard a bird chirp before in my life.
My son done called me 10 times. I don't know what he want. I don't know what he want. Is it ghetto to ask him what he want while we on camera?
I mean, it's I ain't mean to switch and show all my little ladies. Listen, it is. Go ahead and text him, and I'm going to talk about me and my bird experiences. So, as I said, like I've always been afraid of bugs and insects and all of that, and but now it's just like I find so much peace and joy and happiness now that my life is moving slower.
Yes.
So when I go outside and I listen to the different chirping noises, the songbirds, I see the different birds that come. And just like my niece said, what made you get a bird feeder? I said, I don't know. One day I woke up and said, I'm going to get a bird feeder. And I started, but when I tell you I go back there and the youngest she get on the trampoline, and I just sit back there. That's why I be talking about Big Mama, because that's what I want to do. I enjoy when I'm just out there in my imaginary, them little egg chairs, them like little wicker ones. I want one of them so bad. Or I'm on my big porch in my rocking chair, like just enjoying, because it's so many things I think about from growing up that we don't do anymore.
Yeah.
I even think about cookouts. Like our generation would have been our parents was having cookouts and stuff over when we was kids.
Yeah.
I ain't never.
I
ain't gonna say never I have, but we don't do that much.
Last night, me, my son, and I was talking, and I was telling him how much fun we had as kids that they missed out on. I told him how we used to drink water out the water hose on the side of the house.
That's what
he thought it was the most disgusting thing. He was like, I can't believe y'all did that. I'm like, there was a level of joy as a child we had in our childhood that they're missing in today's generation.
Yes.
Sadly. Because of telephones.
I be so excited when I see the kids on my block outside riding their bikes and just playing outside. But it's so much that they're missing out on, and things that we missing out on even as adults. Just getting together, and not even necessarily like a girls' night out, men and women. Like seeing them, I never knew how to play cards, but I will remember going and they playing cards.
Girl,
I see the spades, the Uno, like my family, Uno family. So I see
mine
that
too.
They're Uno family. I ain't doing all that because I've been a sore loser since I was a kid. I cry. My uncle used to just let me win because he know that I would cry. May he rest in peace. But yes, outside, I remember my cousin, her yard, like they had a half a, I don't know, I'm about to say acre, and I don't even know, I don't know none of that, okay? But outside with the music and having parties and stuff like that, I don't see a lot of that.
I mean, it's not a lot of that. Not in the, we used to live in the city though, where we saw more of that. We don't really live in a city like that.
My neighbors across the street, they don't play. They get down like that. They get down like that.
Your neighbors have a gathering,
all the time. If the weather break, I know.
They gonna.
If it's a nice day, and it
does that bother you or no?
No, it bothers me when they park too close to my damn driveway.
Tikisha, do you remember? We was getting ready to go out that day.
Okay, let's move on. But yes, that it bothers me. But and this is the thing where it's just like, you don't envy your neighbors.
Yeah.
Because that is something that I'm envious of, because I don't know. Like, I love my family. We talked about that before, where it's just like I have a decent amount, but I don't really talk to them.
Yeah.
And I seen a TikTok, and she talked about how the people that she's been around the longest, and I think she probably was in her 20s, I wouldn't even give her 30, are the ones that don't even know her the most. And I said, that's the truth. It's your family that has a real big misconception of who you are as an individual. At least in my family, it's for sure. Now, and I'm not talking about like the immediates. Like, we got a gang. I can't think of what it's called, but in the game, you really speak about the person. Like, it'll be like, well, what's your favorite drink or whatever? And the person who gets the most right. Everybody knew everything in my immediate family. We knew a lot, and it was so much.
Play that in my immediate family,
it was. I'll send you that, but it was so much fun. But I think about like my cousins who I grew up around, like they don't know this version of Tikisha. And even when I was when my dad went to his cousin's 80th birthday party, I was talking to a lady there. I think she might have been in her 70s, and she was talking about how my generation doesn't get together, and how like she had married into the family, but she had only been around so many times. But I was telling her, like, they've been my family my whole life. And I've seen this girl, one of their children, twice. One was at her wedding, which was 15 years ago, and then at my mama's memorial going on 7 years. So it's just like, and she 20 minutes from my house.
My family used to get together all the time. I told you before we started.
And where fish fries at? I can Go for me some catfish fried hard.
My family used to get together all the time. Like all of us, all the cousins, everybody. We all knew our cousins. My kids don't know their cousins now. We tried to get together with cousins and stuff, but it's just different
And I
now.
get that the life and hustle and bustle, but you make time for what you want.
Mhm.
It's just sometimes we have to make time. We have to put the initiative and we just have to make it happen and be committed to it. We commit to so many other things. Why don't we commit to our family?
My family trying to plan a reunion now, and because half of us are here and half of us are in Tennessee, so they was going to try and meet halfway, like in Kentucky, which was the plan. And now it sounds like that's not going to happen because most time we've gone to Tennessee, but I don't like driving 13 hours no more. I'm gonna get on the plane. But because it's a Kentucky, I was like, oh, it's 5 hours. Me and my son could do that. But if they go to Tennessee, in my mind, which is probably how families think, I'm like, well, we always go there, and then we the ones that got to do all
because
the
we went to
traveling
New
and,
Orleans my whole life. My cousins have never come up here ever.
Yeah.
Not even for, hey girl, let me come hang out for the weekend.
Never.
They've never done that.
Yeah, I've always heard you say we're going to New Orleans.
Yeah, we're going to New Orleans.
They've never come here.
No, but I have another part of this too, which with family dynamics now is because I think with the newer generations, we're stepping into protecting our peace a little bit more, where we're just not getting together on the strength of family, then leaving talking about everybody, because I grew up with that type of stuff.
Same. Yeah.
And that's
you have
just
a reunion,
being honest.
But then on the way home,
you
talking about everybody who was there, and that's not cool.
And in good and bad ways.
Yeah.
So it's just like, but I think now, so my question to you is, even when it's your immediate family, and I'm talking parents and stuff, do you think that it's okay for you to make a decision to remove them from your life?
Absolutely.
I agree.
I am I have removed some family members that I grew up being super close to, first cousins, from my life to protect my peace, to protect my children. Not that they was dangerous, but just because I don't want that spirit around my kids.
Yeah, because sometimes you just don't like how a person moves, and when you start moving differently, and I'm not gonna address or ask you about that situation, but in general, do you feel like relationships can be healed? Or do you feel like, because I know me, I will walk away from something and slam the door, but when it comes to my family, I feel like I never closed that door all the way. It's like, okay, come on. But I feel like at times it needs to be a hard stop with family as well, especially if I'm hurting myself in the end. Now, if they're a changed person, okay. But I also believe that, and I haven't experienced this, where some situation, maybe I have, because I do know that it's somewhere I'm not opening the door. I don't care.
I'm that way.
I don't care.
I keep the door
and
open.
I say all the
for my
time
immediate.
because it's I lost my mom and I struggle with my mom. Just like I said, I cried about that today. But every day I get up and I keep pushing. So when I think about her being the most important person in my life, the first person that showed me unconditional love, that taught me love in different ways, good and bad, how I continue. So I can continue without you. And I don't mean no shade. I ain't trying to be negative, because it still hurts. It hurts with me missing her. But I keep going. So I can hurt and miss you from being in my life, but I can keep going. And I find happiness in putting myself first.
Yes. That part.
And even
Yes.
if we have a conversation and come to an understanding and forgive each other, we can forgive and we can still move apart and not have to interact. Like you said with the exes, hey, how you doing? It may not even be a hey, how you doing? You just might get a
I'm like that, yeah.
And you know, in my life, I'd be like, they dead and they don't even exist no more. So
I'm not
seeing
that bad.
the ghost.
I'm not that bad. I'm like that with the door I keep open is for my immediate family. That's it. You know, me and my sister.
But I know some people that struggle just from like seeing that, you know, on TikToks and stuff where people have ghosts. And I remember a young lady when my mother first passed who was just like, she felt the hurt and the pain for me with that loss. But she talked about her relationship with her mom was never like that.
Good. Yeah, yeah.
But she did say that it encouraged her to reach out to her a bit more. I do remember that. But again, there's some people that have those where it's the immediate family that's the problem.
I think my mother's death brought me and my sister closer. We've had close moments growing up.
Same exact same.
But
I'm getting hungry, y'all.
We've had some moments where we were not close, where we was arguing, and I think that her spirit has brought us to a place where we just, and also when you learn forgiveness.
And let me say this, because it's just on my heart, where people think when you say spirit that sometimes you always saying that it's evil, you know, or it's a bad thing.
Oh, it's
like
a good spirit, yeah.
Because we again, as I keep saying, we have the good and evil, where it's times where me and my sister done been like this, but it's other times her being the same person where we like this.
Yeah. When I say spirit in that aspect, I think my mother's spirit has got in both of us where it's like she want us to be close.
My mother told my sister that when she passed away that it was going to bring us closer together. Yeah. And she never lied.
Yeah.
She never lied.
Yeah.
Timmy's still my little sister, and I still be wanting to be like, okay, but at the same time be like, okay, my bad, come on. But and I know she want to do me the same way.
But other family, I love y'all with all my heart, and would do, I mean, whatever I can for my family. But if it comes to a point where it's becoming like, as far as unhealthy for me or my children,
I'm picking me.
I'm picking me.
I'm picking my kids.
Yeah, I'm picking me and my kids. I'm not.
Every time.
Absolutely.
Every time.
So that's just where I'm at. Not that I don't love you. Same thing with friends. You know, I told you how some people that were friends treated me or did me, and I still see them and speak. Hey, how you doing? We ain't like close no more, but where I am in my life, I'm just
really wish people, and this is just in general, like I can't harp on this enough to know that it's okay to set boundaries, no matter who it is, for yourself.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell everybody everything that's going on. And I don't even mean like the big moves that you waiting to secure the deal, like looking for a house. I'm not even talking about that. It could be as simple as I want some Qdoba.
Yeah.
I ain't got to tell everybody I'm going to Qdoba. Do you want some? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I had Qdoba today. Everybody you talk to know that you done had damn Qdoba. I want Qdoba. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, my friend is getting hungry.
But I'm just saying, like, I just really want us to know, like, boundaries is okay. They're for everybody. Everybody.
Yeah.
But those people that you love, that you want on that elevator with you to go up to the next level,
that part.
Then you have to work with them individually, and you have to understand that person as an individual, because just because I'm going through things and I'm healing doesn't mean that the other person is. And it also means that that person could be healing too, but in different areas. And the area where you needed to make your relationship better just might not have happened yet.
Yes.
And it may not happen at all. But you have to be comfortable with that. But if it's something happening and you're not comfortable with that, it is okay for you to remove that person out of your life.
Yes, absolutely.
Because you only have one life, and I'm not about to spend my life being mad.
Come on, preach it.
I'm not gonna spend my life being mad and upset because of someone else and how they triggered me.
Yes.
Because like we talked about, if I'm teaching you how to treat me, you teaching me how to treat you. I'm watching how you treat yourself and what you allow. So when you walked away from that abusive relationship, you knew that you was never going to walk into another one, and you didn't look back and you didn't recycle that and put yourself in the opportunity when it came. So when I set these boundaries, I'm done. I'm walking away. I'm not going back to that.
Not going back to it.
And it don't matter if you a changed person, and I know I'm a changed person. That part of my life and where we were at is over because how it affected me.
Yes, absolutely. That's it. That's your sermon, girl. That's it. Okay. That's the whole. Listen, she just gave the benediction. She just gave the benediction. Okay, we said a lot. We talked about 50 different subjects.
We're going on 2 hours.
But this is gonna be a 2-part. So it was needed. This conversation. It's amazing to me how we have something different to talk about every week.
And how we just keep flowing and it doesn't run out. So when I talk to people and I'm just like, oh yeah, I do a podcast with my friend. It's just like, so what you talk about?
Anything that come up?
Or I think of the different little points, but it's just like we go off on so many things and it flows.
Yeah.
It flows very well.
But again, if you all have a topic that you want us to discuss, if you have a question, anything you want to ask us, drop it in the comments or send an email, Kolorflow Conversations, color with a K, conversations with a C, @gmail.com. We'll answer the email. We'll if the topic is something that we want to discuss, we open to talking about most things, but don't send us no.
Yeah, because again, with our setting, we always some way bring God back into it. So it's some stuff that's just not gonna be talked about. It needs to, even though we don't have topics and settings, specific things that we're gonna discuss, it's still a specific platform.
Yeah.
It's still certain requirements. Yeah. We're not gonna just
say anything.
Yeah.
So, think about a topic. If it's something you want us to discuss, if you want us to go back and revisit something, let us know.
You have some input on things, because we sit up here and we talk about, we're professional based on our experiences in life, and everybody is their own professional.
Yeah.
Like I said, we don't need the degrees on the wall, and I'm not lessening that because education is important, but I'm speaking from my personal experiences and the things that I've read and I've retained.
Yeah.
But if you got something that want to pour some more knowledge into me, I'm welcome, because hit me on that next level for my elevator to go up. Because I'm looking for the penthouse suite. Okay. Leader.
Listen.
Leader.
Like, listen, subscribe, share. Okay. We will see you all next week.
Peace.